This is the Happen to Your Career podcast with Scott Anthony Barlow.
We help you stop doing work that doesn't fit you, figure out what does, and make it happen.
We help you define the work that is unapologetically you, and then go get it.
If you feel like you were meant for more and you're ready to make a change, keep listening.
Here's Scott.
Here's Scott.
Here's Scott.
Hey, welcome to the Happen to Your Career podcast. This is a bit of a different episode. It's a bonus episode. It is an episode that I want to share some of the questions that I personally use at the end of every single year to be able to identify what's been amazing and I want to keep in my life and keep in my career, and also what needs to change. So sometimes I use these for goals, sometimes I use these for reflection, but no matter what I'm using them for, they yield high results for me personally. So I continue to use them. They've evolved quite a bit over the years, but I want to share those with you. In just a minute though, first I want to point out something that maybe is obvious. However, at the risk of it not being obvious, it's getting close to the end of the year. And one of the things that we see every single year is that one of two things happens. We get a huge influx of people that are wanting to career change in the new year. And they are either scheduling conversations with us right now where we're trying to figure out the very best way that we can help support them and then get them aligned with the right type of help for them and then set up so that when January 1 hits, then they're entering the new year with a plan and they can rest assured over the holidays that they have everything figured out, taken care of, and that it's just going to be able to happen as they walk into the new year. What happens with an entirely other group of people, and I don't think either option is bad necessarily, but what happens with an entirely other group of people is wait till the new year. And I'd say actually the majority of people have a tendency to wait until January 1st happens before working on it at all or identifying, how they're going to take care of it. And I understand that. I think that's very human. Also, here's the reason I'm sharing it with you. What has a tendency to happen is we get a huge influx of people come January 1, and that means we only have so many spots available to talk to people. And the same thing is true right now. So here's what I would encourage you to do or think about. If you want to make a change in the new year, I would encourage you to schedule a conversation right now. Figure out the type of help that we can support you with, or the very best way that we can help you. My team can absolutely do that for you. Just send email, scott@happentoyourcareer.com. Email me directly and put conversation in the subject line. I'll connect you with my team. We'll figure out the very best way that we can support you. And then you can go into the new year with plan. Otherwise, if you are going to wait until the new year, anticipate that we are going to be pretty backlogged, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We would be really excited to talk to you, but just know that you can get ahead of it all by scheduling your conversation right now. Scott@happentoyourcareer.com. Put conversation in the subject line. Okay, now on to this list of questions here. Question number 1. What worked this year that I would like to double down on in next year? Essentially, you can think about what are the things that were pretty amazing this year? What worked? What do I want more of? What do I want to see additional in the next year? What I want to carry forward is another way to think about it, into the next year. I love this question because this is where, if you focus your time and energy, you can identify what was successful and that we can make more successful, whether it's your relationship with your family, your kids, whether it is something that worked for a certain type of project that you took at work, whether it is something that worked financially, you achieved some of your other goals, how you went about everything this year. It could just be your philosophy. Essentially, look at it holistically and think about what are the things that worked this year. If you're struggling with that, look back at the calendar. Look back at the calendar, look at photos is another thing that we do. We have a good set of friends that will actually go through and look at the year's worth of photos in order to remind themselves what were some of the key events and trigger what worked. And then that way they can capture that. All right, question number 2, it's the opposite question. What do you want less of this next year? Okay. That's another question. It's the opposite. What do I want to do away with and or change in one way or another? Question number 3. What do I want to prevent in this upcoming year? What do I want to prevent from happening in this upcoming year? I love this one because it just forces you to think a little bit more proactively, which means you can be a little bit more intentional. What are the things that I'm worried about that I can prevent? What are the things that I didn't enjoy this last year that I can prevent? It helps you take it from a worry and begin the initial stages of thinking about how can I proactively act on this? Okay, number 4, what was I missing this last year? What am I missing that I want to see or have more of in the new year? Okay, lastly, question number 5, and my favorite question. What do I want to accomplish between now and the end of this year? Why do you have to wait till the new year to start? Once you know what you want to be working on in the next year, my opinion is you don't have to wait. What are the simple things you can do right now to get yourself a head start? I know, from a perspective of career change, we talked about one of those earlier, like schedule a conversation with somebody who can help. Obviously that's something we do, but if career change is on your list of things, then do something about it, whatever it is. And if we can support that, of course we'd be happy to. So there you go. There's the gift of 5 questions that I'm using this year. If you need anything else and there's any way we can support you, I think by now, if you've listened to more than 2 episodes of this podcast, that we'd be very willing and we'd love to be able to help. Click the link in the description, schedule a chat with our team, or drop me that email, and we'll figure out the very best way that we can support you in your upcoming year. All right. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Adios. I am out.